Oh, Kissay! We get to sit and see that bumper every single time we come back. That gets me pumped. That gets me pumped. All together as well. Of course, look, welcome back to the LCO delivered by Menulog. We are here with Menulog Mealtime Live, all in these swaggy old jackets as well. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. But before we jump into that, $30 vouchers. I heard you like them. So if you type MENUPOG in the chat, you can go in the winning to win one of those and get yourself a little feed. You know, $30. I believe we had $30 and had a pretty good feed just before as well, thanks to Menulog. So that was a nice little taste test. It got us ready for the show. Now, you guys can win that as well. So make sure you get MENUPOG in the chat. Try to win the $30 voucher. If you don't want to use it, get it, send it to me. I'll use it later. I'll happily do that. I'm sure any of us would. So pick your favorite host, favorite caster, and send it this way. If you
thought you were going to say
like
pick
yourself.
your favorite host and let it sit.
Hey, look, sharing is caring. Okay, I'm just putting that one out there. Now, all right, topic of discussion today for Menulog Mealtime. We're having a discussion before, and it needs to be said, push-ups are now banned on the LCO set, so I'm not going to be doing any push-ups here. But we have come up with an idea off the top of that conversation, and it is Menulog-themed ideas we could be pulling out at the LCO Grand Finals down in DreamHack. And Rusty came up with a banger, which, you know, push-ups still involved, but it could involve an eating competition, you know, have a little bowl, get a couple of people from the crowd, see if they can do a push-up, you know, eat as much of the food as possible. I thought that was a great one.
I'm thinking decathlon.
Decathlon.
You get different gym exercises.
Wait, decadent cathlon.
Sure.
Yes.
I see what you did there.
You get a couple of people who want to, let's just say participants.
It's going to get messy.
Yes.
And it's different gym exercises, but the end of each one is food, and it's the first to finish the food, not to do the exercises. Like a pull-up bar, at the top is like a food that you have to, like a burrito.
Oh, a cupcake.
Or a cupcake.
I want to be at the top, like
cupcake.
dangling some K-fry, just like, come on, mate, you can do it.
Yeah.
Just to lure them in. Going to be beautiful.
And then it could be like baton passing, right? You have a team of 4.
Like the most beautiful idea.
Great.
So hopefully we can get that one cranking. And I'd love to. I don't really like cupcakes, to be honest, but I would love the idea of, you know, doing the pull-ups just to eat a cupcake, seeing how much you can get. And if you can't do enough reps to get enough bites of the cupcake, well, you just lose. Or you sub me in and I'll do it for you, because I do enjoy a couple of pull-ups. So Rusty, he'll be there.
Yep.
He loves pull-ups. Kitty, can you do pull-ups?
As you can tell, I am quite the gym fanatic myself with my gains right here. You know, you can see some really good gains coming in for today.
Yep.
But you guys are all really creative compared to me. If I was to host a Menulog themed event, it was to scissors, paper, rock, and whoever loses shouts boba on the Menulog app.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Short and sweet and easy.
Yeah. Works out. You could do that one with your friends at home. And if you win the $30 voucher, you could then just, if you lose, just give them the $30 voucher and everyone's happy. Look, no skin off your back. Make sure you get those MENUPOGs in the chat. We're going to be doing that every single day, but I believe that's it for the Menulog Mealtime. It's time to start having a quick chat about match number 2. Now, we know it's PGG, we know it's Kanga, but let's talk about Pentanet first, because they have been on a boot camp and playing a couple of SEA teams. So they're going to be bringing back a whole lot of experience and coming out of the gate swinging, Skimmy.
They certainly are. They're the only team in this region, in this league, that have made no changes to the roster. They've stuck with their guns and said, no, this is the team. This is going to be the one that brings us to that grand final, the run back, the one that can basically showcase all the excitement we saw in that barn burner Game 5 against the likes of Chiefs. So I'm excited to see what it looks like, right? You've got that amount of faith in the roster, in your own teammates, to say that we don't need to make any major changes. You've gone to Perth, where Pentanet's headquarters are, and said, look, let's scrim against some other teams outside of this region, up, as you said, against some of the best in Southeast Asia. And I think this could be certainly a conversation as to maybe they've got an early bit of momentum, because other teams are looking to try and figure out new players, new styles, how to accommodate it all together. They're just saying, we just need to be a little bit better than we were last split.
Now, going into this game, of course, they're going to be up against Kanga, who have been looking relatively decent, but before we talk about Kanga, Kitty, give me your 2 cents on Pentanet. Did you play with any of them during the break? Are they looking good? Are you going to put them... Also, where did you sort of put them around those power rankings?
I'm not going to share my power rankings just yet, just in case you steal them from me. But I'm going to call you out, Pentanet. You guys did not play solo queue during off-season, and all of your accounts dictate the D1. But you guys are playing quite a lot of solo queue nowadays, coming back into the high elos. So I do get you sometimes, but, you know, play more ranked, because I like you guys on my team.
Play more ranked. Maybe. Anyway, look, let's talk Kanga. I'm sure they've been playing ranked as well. Getting ready for Split 2. They had a bit of a lackluster performance coming through Split 1. But I dare say they are here and ready to try and change that up. Rusty, tell me, who are we going to be watching this split again? Is it Lived? Is it Styled going in there at jungle? Talk to me.
I mean, Kanga, they're a funny team to have watched in the first split because Lived was someone who was performing decently well, but he'd get targeted, right? So they really needed a second person to step up if they wanted Liv to perform.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where most of my eyes or my opinions were going towards Fighto as an integration to the team. I do think that he was one of the more healthy integrations that they could have made. He added a spark to them, right? He gave them something different. It's very hard to talk seriously when this is going on. But in conclusion, Fighto. Yeah.
I really hope we have a Lived interview or just an interview with him at some point this split so we can ask him about everything that's going on there. Anyway, good to see that, you know, all these clips from Media Day providing results. So anyway, back to the point. Now that there's no dancing or hiding with light sticks going on, who are our players to watch?
My player to watch was Fighto for this team. I do think that he was going to be the star of the show in Split 1. I hope that with the time that they have had right now as well, he's been able to continue to grow and develop in a competitive environment where I think he was already quite capable in his individual right.
You mentioned some of his champions as well, right? Like the likes of the Tristana and so on, you're saying we're pretty strong right now, so those pocket picks.
Okay. What about you, Kitty? Anyone to watch from Kanga in particular?
I'm looking towards Leemas because he's a rookie, as people would call him, because he did have his first split ever last split. True. And now that he's shaken off the nerves as the rookie, I think he can step up and be that second carry player that Kanga needs.
Okay, now I guess, look, Kanga, coming into this split, what did they come last? Did they come 7th last split, or did they end up coming in 6th? 6th. So they slid into 6th. Ourselves, are we thinking that there's a chance for them to make playoffs, or are we sort of just waiting to see what their form's like going into game 1 at least?
I think I was of the belief last split. I think I had them and Direwolves like interchanging a fair bit, right? Based on like promise and potential was like my big talking point, right? We heard a lot from their coaching interviews, right? We're building, we're developing, and so on. This is obviously not the final product as to what we're seeing today, right? Got 3 AD carries on a team, basically saying we'll just play anywhere and hope for the best. So I think what we really craved more so was, as you say, right, more from Leemas. There was times where their bot lane felt a little bit invisible, felt a little bit quiet, where Leemas would fall behind, and Liv would get a little bit desperate, right? Be playing like top lane exhaust Graves, saying I just need to win, at all costs. Forget the TP. I'm not ganking anywhere else. I just need to win my lane. So I think if they had those extra threats, like Fighto, like Leemas in the bot lane, and they'd be a lot more well-rounded than Split 1. Okay,
well, I've got my Mac phone ready because I think it's time for an interview. So, wait, who's on the phone? Who's that? It's Rogue. Hey, I missed you. How are you feeling?
What's up, guys? I miss being there, guys. I was there last time, and now I'm here. I'm the screen person.
You're the screen person. Well, that's pretty good. Now, I need to know, Rogue. Look, you guys have been boot camping. How has that gone, and did you get a valuable experience over in Perth?
We did. I want to preface this by saying, Kitty, you're trolling. You said we didn't play solo queue. Our 3 Koreans were in Korea playing Korean solo queue.
Wait, really?
I was doing jungle to challenger on my Smurf account, streaming every day, and you came to my chat all the time.
Fake.
And the Koreans were in Korea.
Okay.
So we did play solo queue.
Yes, Rogue.
What about Praedyth?
I think he has like a crazy secret Smurf or something. You know, I think he's like challenger in Valorant or something.
Yeah, that rank exists.
That rank does exist. Well, Rogue, now that you're on the other side of the screen, we all miss you so very much. So when's the next time you're going to come back and visit us?
I want to come back soon, but I don't want to get eliminated to come back, because that's what happened last time. I got knocked out and then I came to the couch, so I can't do that. I didn't answer your first question. Perth bootcamp, awesome. Vietnamese, yeah, sorry, it's a disaster. Vietnamese teams are crazy. They're insane. The way they play the game is crazy. They outpace those teams by a mile. And we just got stunned for a few days and then figured it out, took some games, came back, and we've been smashing it ever since. The boys have been way better than we were Split 1. We're all gelling, we're all getting the good vibes, you know. So, very good boot camp.
Very good. Now, did you remember Kitty's question?
Which one was this? When I'm coming back?
When are you coming back?
To the studio?
Well, when are we going to see each other next?
Oh, I mean, like I said this, I don't want to get knocked out. Because if I get knocked out, I can't see you.
We'll
so not
see
for
you
a long
at
time.
DreamHack.
Oh, true, that one, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you at
I'll see you
DreamHack
there.
Finals, everyone. Go buy tickets.
Yeah,
I forgot
well,
about that one.
That's what she was fishing for. We got there eventually.
okay,
Look, I'm
Rogue.
glad we're all
Yeah,
on the same
look,
page.
I'm a bit slow today.
That's all right. Hopefully, you can pick up the pace going into that game. So, Kanga, what are your thoughts on them? Do you think that they stand any chance, or are you guys feeling too high after the boot camp?
We high. We feeling high. We got the split wrapped up. It's just a little speed bumpy. But I'm excited to verse Fighto. That's an old name from the Legacy days. He comes and goes. He's back again. He's a good lad. I'm keen to verse him. I think we all are.
Yeah, very good, very good. Now, look, we're going to have to wrap this one up because I heard you got a rift to jump on into. But look, it's always good to chat. And look, best of luck in game.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Goodbye, Rogue.
I'm
See you
loving
later.
his table in the back. I didn't get to say it, but
That's
Yeah.
new,
Really
isn't
nice.
it? From
Yeah,
Split
it's
1
new.
to yeah.
Just-
The
I don't know.
decor
Before it
is
used to just be
evolving.
Praedyth.
Just around, just being fancy, you know.
It's not your everyday gamer house, is it? It's definitely functional. It's,
Kitty, you know, you said he didn't play much solo queue, and regardless of that, what he did play was Clash, and I've never been griefed as hard as he did in that Clash. But my man's was putting on a clinic on how to lose Clash games.
Ooh,
I
big
was
words.
trying so hard.
Big words. I wonder if that's going to sway Rusty's prediction, knowing what Rogue was doing in the off-season. But before that, their MVP, not their MVP, their fan vote. You guys, maybe you can decide the MVP, but for now, I just want your fan vote. So get those Twitch points in, predict which team, which way you think it's going to go. During the game, you'll see how that one has unfolded. Of course, you can win more Twitch points. It's a prediction, right? You win, you get the points. You lose, well, say goodbye to your Twitch points. So maybe don't put too many on. You know, the channel points are going to be very important, especially when it comes to the LCO Grand Finals. And you're there live and you can't do actually the predictions. So good luck with that one. But look, let's talk about our predictions now, how we think this is going to go. So PGG all across the board. I think today, look, there's a lot of heavy favorites in these games, but why, Skimmy, have you gone with PGG more so than Kanga?
very short rivalry between these two. 3-0 in favor of PGG so far. I just think pound for pound they're going to be better, right? You've not got any off-roll players. You've got players that have just been fresh of a boot camp that have been playing, as you heard, in South Korea. Both over there in the Vietnamese. Some of these teams when they're over in Perth getting good ping, right? Which is unfathomable when you think about OS and its position in the world. So happy days. They should just be feeling like the best team right now because they've made no changes. So they should be coming in BalKhan 10-0, outdoing old Marky Mark and saying, Mark, it's a bot lane meta, but I'm the king of the castle.
I just loved Rusty's reaction when you just spoke about where Australia is in the
Yeah,
world.
pretty far.
No, it's just because we're having so much fun when it comes to geography, right?
I was just having it in a dialogue.
Australia's there,
Skimmy.
and New Zealand's always off the map. No one knows we exist. So
I've seen many maps where New Zealand doesn't exist. They just don't put it on there.
It's crazy.
I think there's a whole like Reddit to do with
Yeah.
maps without New Zealand. So go look that
a
one up.
shame.
Rusty, tell me, why have you gone for Pensinet, even though you know that Rogue was trolling?
I mean, I don't think there's any world that Pensinet should lose this
Okay.
game if we assume that everyone's coming in on form. I'm not going to talk too much about my power rankings yet. I assume that'll be a later conversation. But I have a distinct tiering of teams, and I don't think that anyone
Distinct
at a
one.
certain tier can beat a team above the other tier or below the other tier,
Ooh,
right?
so
There's
you've
two.
got-
I have two. Yeah.
You just like full structured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's at the top?
Well, I mean, we'll talk about that.
Well,
when
what
we
about
get
at the
there,
bottom?
won't we? That's the team that
And
isn't
he's
at the
not-
top is at the
He's
bottom.
not letting up, is he?
No, I'm trying to catch him off guard. But he's like
You
a
can-
bloody brick wall. This
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
just,
yeah.
oof, won't be moved. What about you, Kitty? Why have you gone for Pensinet?
Well, as you heard from Rogue, they have not been complacent, which was what I thought. They've been playing in Korean solo queue, which is the best solo queue out there, and they had a boot camp playing against VCS, and I know VCS has a lot of really good players. Shout out to Levi, But I think if Kanga does pull a win from PGG tonight, then
Yeah.
that proves that ADC players are the best autofield players there is.
Why?
Facts.
True.
Actually, ADCs are the highest depth of talent in O's full stop. So if any role is going to be able to autofill into another role, Styled is an AD carry main who's playing jungle right now for Kanga, just for context for everyone.
Okay.
If anyone's going to do it, an AD carry can, because they just have so much talent. I can't name a role that has more talented players than AD in O's.
That's true. That's true. We always talk about, the most strong roles, the most strong matchups in terms of the lanes, and that bot lane matchup is always crazy.
We could sit here for
we
hours.
don't actually have time because I just got queued to throw to Champ Select. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You guys can talk now, though.
Oh, that's great. Well, we are going to do some talking as you look at our face, so enjoy as we talk about Champ Select. And there they are. Pentnet on the left-hand side with blue side priority, looking to do what they do best, lock in some champions that will be ever so annoying for Kanga to try and deal with.
Feel real swaggy in a champion select now with the Menulog jacket. Just like comfy, it's real cozy.
You got the King's Cape though. That's the difference between you and me, because you can just be like...
Yeah, it's true. Try and not hit the microphone though. We'll see how that goes. Look, let's get into the draft. Senna, again, Gangplank and Wukong. I think we might start seeing some very consistent bans through a lot of the games this week. Senna is really strong. It was banned on red side last game. However, Gangplank and Wukong, both very strong champions. Cogmore going to be banned away, which means that the Lulu and the Karma are going to be up though. So that is the one point of difference that I think it is fair to point out. Now, PGG are a team that could very easily go for like the Karma or the Lulu with a Twitch. So you have to keep that in mind. Not sure exactly where Leemas will go, but we did know him as a Draven player more so when perhaps champions like the Twitch get locked in, he just goes Giga Chad.
We were screaming. We really were. All of Split 1, weren't we, saying we know he's a Draven player. It's his most played in solo queue, but it's what he was touted as, and he didn't play once. So maybe at some stage it is going to happen, but until then, we will have to keep ourselves checked in place. Graves, first pick here from the side of Pentnet. We saw that BalKhan, when he did get his hands on it, was certainly a bit of a weapon with it. But the champion that we heard Daejong say was the most annoying, the most giga OP, to quote him directly, was this Lillia, and that's going to be the first response out of Kanga.
And it is. It's very annoying. One of the places that Lillia is being seen more often than not, more often than not as well, is top lane. So just keep that in mind, as Lived could be someone that picks up this Lillia. We'll have to see where he chooses to take the pick, where the whole team of Kanga chooses to take the pick more in. Waiting to see where the rest of the draft goes. Karma going to be the lock with them. Now, Lucian Nami, this is something that I think is just going to be expected, right? It's just a good duo still down in that bottom lane. Graves to be seen as a jungler / flex to solo lanes as well. Just strong outright champions. Karma, you would say, is flexible in lanes. I'm a believer that on 12.10, the durability patch, we're at a point now where Lulu and Karma could be picked in solo lanes again. I just see that as a world. I mean, it was being picked already. Right? Order is the team that stands out to me, but it was being picked in solo lanes and I think only got stronger in that position.
Take me back to the meta where we had like Divine Sunder, a tank top lane, Karma, and you empower your W, you max it out. It's a little bit illegal. Lucian Nami though, that's going to be the one that comes out nice and early. I feel like that was commonly only off the side of fire and really coming out showing, you could use the scale. It's overrated, just win lane.
Yeah, I mean, this Tristana Karma as well, if that's going to be the bottom lane, it's unlikely because like you've highlighted just before, Fighto going to be playing the Tristana mid is something that we have seen a lot of. Now, lots of close range, high damage champions to be seen at the present moment by Pensanet.gg. Looking to see what they'll be able to round this composition out with. We're looking for some magic damage with Gwen taken off the cards, with Lillia already being picked away. A lot of the magic damage is in fact gone. And so Kanga's 4-5 bans are also going to reflect that as well, right? Getting rid of those control mages towards mid lane, the Victor and the Vega going to be taken away. Yuri did, I think in terms of mages, could play, like the Twisted Fate or the Corki. Very interested to see how he has adapted to this new patch as well with Talia gone. Will it be something like the Azir that he is capable of playing is the question that we'll have to ask. We're going to see where Kanga chooses to go on their fourth pick as well here. Skimmy with the Ezreal taken away. It seems like Ezreal is going to be a high priority champion, at least this week. And Jhin was also a 4-5 ban. Jhin's going to be the lock. So Skimmy's definitely not here. We'll get him fixed as soon as possible. He's talking to me, which is why I wasn't responding. But he's not coming through to you guys. We'll get that fixed as soon as possible. Jhin going to be the lock. Vladimir actually going to be seen this time around, as I'll just play through draft. That's easy. Just don't make me do it for actual action on the Rift. Vlad, very good scaling option. Swain also going to be seen. So Swain can be flexed in multiple positions and multiple roles. This does kind of lock the Graves into the jungle, it feels like, and Swain could be mid. The question is, because the Vladimir and a Swain are locked together, which one would be going mid lane? Swain most likely, but you have the option of counter here for Kanga. So I don't know if Swain is an outright blindable champion. I think Swain's probably A tier on the new patch, which means S tier champions could be seen. Sylas is an interesting one, because I think if you run Ignite, you actually have really high kill threat. And Swain's early game is a little bit weak and more reliant on hitting the claw yourself. Just for anyone who is wondering, the TLDR of the changes is that Swain can permanently have his ult on if he's hitting a champion. And that he needs to hit the claw himself because you can't pull back off ally CC. That not working?
I guess you're doing this one.
Oh,
hang on. Is it working now?
Yeah, we're good.
I can hear myself. Well, that's fantastic. Love your work there, Rusty. You've pretty much just hard carried me in the draft where you can. Like in trying to alleviate the play-by-play life in the game where things do get a little bit wild and wacky.
Skimmy, you want to talk about wild and wacky? Just look at Kanga's champions. So there's always this feeling, right, where you go into game, you're like, oh, I mean, Styles an AD carry main.
Sure.
How's he going to go jungling? Well, what if he doesn't? What if he just plays AD carry? Leemas plays Karma and Lionel just whips out a Lillia.
Now, I don't want to make up some hearsay, but is there perhaps a secret Discord channel in Kanga where they have only 3 AD carry players in there and they just spin the wheel and say, who's playing off for today?
Yeah, you reckon they rolled a dice? It's possible.
And Lionel's like, you know what, support was too easy. Might as well just try and give a crack at jungle too.
They could all also have like a champion each, right? So like Lionel could be like, if they leave Lillia up, obviously I'm going to pick the Lillia because it's broken, and then I'll just play that in whatever role. It's not going to be support. It should be... You know what? Is it Leemas playing Karma top?
Surely you don't want to.
No.
You would not move left.
It's Jhin Karma bottom.
Yes.
Sylas mid. What? Yeah, no, Trist mid.
Trist mid.
Sylas top, Lillia jungle.
These are their picks. This is their style. And this is how we load ourselves into a second game here for LCO Split 2. Thank you very much for covering there, as my mic does all kinds of weird and wonderful things. But I suppose we missed one of the big things for me, which is what we were talking about during prep, was Winter is one of those players, right, that will showcase some very unique picks. Swain is insane. He's playing it.
Yeah, it was one of the thoughts I was having. Of course, I wasn't able to riff with you on it, so I just kind of let it simmer. Would it be a Swain mid? Would it be a Vladimir mid? You weren't actually sure on what the matchups were going to be until the Sylas was locked.
Sure.
And I think there was a very high chance that Fighto was going to be playing Trist mid no matter what. I think that going for Vladimir into Tristana is certainly a decision. It is. In my head, Tristana just annihilates the Vladimir at all times. You don't really have the luxury of proccing the phase rush until level 3, where you can maybe like run away at a fast pace with the puddle. But Hail of Blades, Ignite Tristana, just presses W on your head at level 2. What do you do? You know? Like, what do you do? If he gets level 2 first, and he can because he probably starts E for the extra damage onto minions that he last hits, what are you going to do?
Well, we're going to find out those questions, really what the answers look like for that one in just a second as we load ourselves into another coaching interview. Chippies, kia ora, welcome back to the show. I heard you got a nice little title update as well. You are now the head coach. How are you, mate?
Thanks, G. Going pretty good. Loving the promotion.
Yeah, that's the way. Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, well, talk to me, because you're the only team that really not made any major changes. So does that give you any kind of early confidence or a bit of momentum to start off the split?
I'd say last split we had a pretty good opportunity to take the whole thing, but across the board, including myself, we underestimated order a bit. We're just focused on Chiefs. So we definitely won't make that mistake again. And fresh off the boot camp, we're feeling pretty good.
That's the way. Well, I want to talk about that boot camp a little bit. We heard some thoughts from Rogue just before about going up against some of the VCS teams. How was that for yourself, involved in sort of everybody?
Yeah, I was surprised actually. I thought the boot camp would be quite scuffed, but 50 ping is like not that much. You know, from New Zealand, we're used to playing on 40.
Yeah.
We've roughed it out before, so I was surprised we could do that from OCE actually. We got some pretty good scrims versus Vietnam and Hong Kong.
That's
very good practice.
Maybe a little secret weapon for you guys to utilize as the split continues, or just going forward in general. But yeah, Chippies, look, I'm really excited to see you boys in action once again. No changes to the team, as we said, so I'm keen to see how game 1 and the rest of the split looks out for you.
Thanks, big man. See ya.
So I think to no one's surprise, the Tristana hits level 2 first, plays aggressively mid. Flash was used by Yuri just to survive the lane. Both potions are also going to be used, and it looks like a cheat reset here by Fighto is going to be the response. So he's not looking to stamp down any further, just comfortable with the reset to get some extra efficiency there. And a control ward early that he'll place on the top side of his lane. Top's also seen some very aggressive trading, is winning for the side of Kanga. Liv has control of his 1v1 against the Swain. Bot is a hyper volatile lane, right, with a Lucian Nami.
Yeah.
And Graves has been pathing from top side to bot side, as has our jungler Lionel. Just so that we can all really work out where people are going. It is going to be the jungle for the mainstay support of the team, formerly an AD carry, just to confuse you further. But BalKhan has Prio.
Yep, and what a way to introduce yourself into a new role. Up against BalKhan, maybe the scariest early game jungler there is. The bubble's going to be flashed away from. BalKhan still here looking for a collision. Against the wall would have been instant, but an instant flash away after means that now Kanga have no flashes in the bot lane.
And perhaps forced by the wave, Kanga? I mean, that's just overly aggressive. BalKhan, however, if you want to talk about overly aggressive players, he knows his limits.
Yep, proxy the waves, make sure that their wave crashes. It's not going to be the biggest one, it's coming on through. And Lionel's going to say, well, what can I do to try and answer back into a Graves that can't just hop and skip across the wall and really just draw my attention elsewhere on the map?
Yeah, and it is pulling the jungler of Kanga back around the map. If you consider that mid you would think was winning early, at least for health trades, is actually behind a full wave worth of farm. Top lane that was winning his early trades as well. It doesn't feel like he's won hard enough, but theoretically leaving them isolated could have been really bad for Pentanet.gg if they didn't get any trade backs on the bottom side of the map. So I don't think it's a bad thing that Lionel has, come back to protect. I think the mistake is there that both flashes were used by Kanga, just knowing where the Graves was. A simple bubble shouldn't force two of you to have to flash away.
Feels rough. But a bot lane that is, as a pairing, so refined and so comfortable with one another, as is Praedyth and Rogue. If they're going to be playing a matchup like this, they're certainly going to look to try and push the envelope nice and early on and find value in PTA as well as Electrocute. Try and force out those summoners. And that is certainly the case here. So still no first blood 5 minutes into this one, but we've certainly seen a lot of active trading across the board.
We have permanent push as well for Fighto. Basically permanent priority and first move going to be available for the Tristana. So you would like to see some proactivity perhaps from Lionel. Just to try and utilize that if possible, right? Maybe take away a Raptor camp, maybe take away a Wolf camp, whatever it may be. Something that you can utilize that advantage for. But so far it is just going to be full clearing from BalKhan as well. Gonna have a crack at top lane here though.
He's omnipresent, up into the top lane now he goes. Winter gonna try and get those demon eyes stacked up nice and early as he dukes out a fog of war for just a second, but BalKhan is very keen. Just out of range from those shotgun pellets. Don't think it would have been lethal. Well, it's certainly been enough though to force Liv to go back and TP back in.
Lionel shows bottom lane. Of course, it is going to be the Predator, Lillia, so very hard to avoid when she gets the Predator off and starts running at you. Especially for a champion that gets faster, she hits more abilities. So it starts fast, it ends fast. It is very difficult to deal with. Yuri also placed his ward earlier, immediately under the control ward that got instantly cleared. So BalKhan is going to cycle through here, clearing this out. Is the Dark Harvest build. I think he's got a couple of stacks already, Skimmy, and you often see the Umbral Glaive purchased with the Dark Harvest build, has the zombie wards for it, and just becomes a powerhouse of vision control as one champion. It is super annoying to deal with. Zombie wards make roaming as a support if you're looking to gank impossible, because there's just decayed wards everywhere that he's cleared. It just makes things really difficult to be proactive.
We just saw it from MSI as well, right? With all the center players, even Jhin coming into the play of things, all rushing Umbral Glaive just for so much map control. Deny vision, and you can really do whatever you like as a result of that. Whether or not that is the case to be seen here from Stald's variation off this Jhin, we'll wait and see. But certainly a team like Pentanet that have been notorious as the most aggressive early game team, at least as far as things went in Split 1, could be a shoo-in for that item being rushed.
So taking into context what has happened top lane as well here, it is now a 3-wave advantage for Liv in terms of CS, which is basically the value of a kill, right? So approximately 300 golden advantage for top lane. That's huge. It started very nicely for the Sylas, and as you would expect, Swain, we mentioned this, is strong, has a lot of positives in his change, but still has vulnerabilities. And I think early game, if they get on top of you, you just don't have the ability. If you're in a minion wave as well, the claw's not going to be useful, right? Claw takes time, Sylas has mobility. It's just very hard to make positive trades. Also has gone for the Ghost with his teleport, so no ignite or anything of the likes means much less heal cut to deal with a Sylas that has 4 points, so has to rush it in his items. As both have done, but has to rush it in his items, and that delays, potential actual item spikes that he needs.
There's another stack though, acquired nice and early as he's forced to try and respond to this wave. There's the rest of his team, mid-jungle, link up together and say, let's play for this very first Herald. Now, Lionel's in the area. The bot lane of Pentanet is making a move towards mid lane as bot lane is held in mid-suspension. Question is, do Kanga put up any form of contest at this one? BalKhan doesn't appear to be backing down from this one just yet. Fighto looking to try and trim out some of that vision, but Rogue is here, still level 5. Just shielding his team, as they will guarantee that one is to be picked up. Now, Praedyth's going to get a little bit of a rare reprieve here. They're going to lose 1 plate for this, but he's going to get a little bit of solo experience as the trade back.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, losing a plate for the Herald isn't going to be something that's too painful, especially if Praedyth is able to cleanly farm it. It just means, you know, Kanga very much caught in indecision. Do they want to contest the Herald or not was a question they kept asking up until it was almost done. Fighto also posturing there even as it was basically being completed. They could have immediately been trading for the Drake. They could have been off vision going for a bot dive, but they showed their positioning. They showed their hand to PGG, who can just play the map accordingly. Very casual here, and I would say top lane farm aside, the Vladimir is scaling exceptionally quickly. It is on the pulse with farm.
Good
nice
bubble, really good bubble. Instant exhaust, cleanse that one away. The culling comes across, and Styled is just a sitting duck. Gonna fall on down, and that's first blood for Pentanet.
Simple bubble connecting there, right? Simple follow-up to be seen from Praedyth. The Vladimir might go for this. Oh, that was tempting, I think, if he had a stacked up blood bank.
Instant rock and jump away. Not going to be taking any chances in that one. Certainly not. Can't afford to allow, well, both of these champions really in the mid lane, insane scaling threats.
Summoners are back for Yuri also, right? Had to flash level 2. Doesn't get punished any further. Lillia not exactly like a LeBlanc Lee Sin type lane, right? There's a lot less kill threat. Can provide some, but it's not going to be devastating, so the Vladimir perseveres. Jungle CS kind of making up the difference between top laners also. So all things considered, you would say a fairly even game just with strengths in different places.
Certainly seems to be that way, as they will be playing for very different objectives in mind. I'm very curious to see how BalKhan looks to try and utilize this Herald, because one of the stats that really stood out to me for Pensnet's identity last split was like they had a 90% succession on getting the first turret. And in the first 3 turrets afterwards, right, they were just always on the map, getting heralds, getting structures, or at least getting kills to say that you don't have enough members on this map to try and defend that one. So where that's the case again, if they've learned anything different, if there is going to be a stylistic change, we'll wait and see. But they are, once again, bringing a lot of attention towards this Tristana.
Nami has no ultimate, but they are still going to be hunting. Lionel about to face tank.
Oh, it's a beautiful bubble, and there really isn't much more that Lionel could have done from that one. Yes, you could potentially flash, but that was literal milliseconds.
Yeah, I mean, he's not in a safe space. He doesn't know where Graves is, and I mean, BalKhan is one of those junglers that is not just proficient, but absolutely enjoys a good invade. Going to be able to walk their way through mid if they want. In fact, Fighto.
Oh, Fighto's just gone for the flash. Fighto went for the flash. Buster shot. He really tried to take out BalKhan. Both responded. There's the flash forward. Hemo Plague as Yuri's looking for the kill. Is it enough? Well, it is now. Collateral damage will certainly make sure of it. And the 2-star Koreans explode into life in the mid lane.
Yeah, the Graves ultimate will be there. Note that they still have the Rift Herald. They could crush the Eye. They could summon that in mid lane if they wanted. Another bubble connects, and they are just feeling themselves right now. This has been a slower game though, right? 11 minutes in. This is not the, one of the most aggressive early game teams that we have in our region is still just playing fairly straightforward League of Legends.
They certainly are. But I've got to run it back to that mid lane clip one more time, because that was a thing of beauty. Almost like one of those flips of the coins there from Fighto saying, why are you disrespecting me like this? I will just flash, buster shot you in, take you out. If I die for it, so be it. But ultimately, a lot of resources burnt across the board to try and make that play happen.
I mean, it's respectable, right? If nothing else, we look at what Fighto did and say, I respect that.
Yep.
It failed, but that's pretty good. Like, you see windows, you see opportunities, you do what a lot of players don't do. You may do in practice, but you don't do on stage. Sure. That is one key difference I think it's always fair to compliment him for.
Oh,
wow.
Praedyth straight in about it. Thinking about saving the Gale Force for an execute. He's jumped in. He's been caught by the root. Now the curtain call comes across, and you're going to be put to sleep. Flash pull from Lionel. And ultimately, it's Leemas that picks up the kill. A lot of gold shared around. And what started with a play that Praedyth says, we're going to go forwards, ultimately, instant regret.
That was a sour taste in my mouth that there was still a flash needing to be used by Lionel when he was put to sleep. An extra Jhin ultimate could have also been used before perhaps he was woken up and the drowsy was still taking effect. But nevertheless, they will secure the kill that they were after because Praedyth goes absolute psychopath mode and just tries to make a play without Rogue even having the E on him. But listen, it happens. You know, we talk about Fighto finding windows. Praedyth makes them. He just kicks the door down instead.
FBI, open up.
He's just found a Lillia on the other end saying, what are you doing? Lillia doesn't buy Gale Force, just to be clear. I think that's just the API saying that the Jhin has his item finished. So no one freak out like I did. And Jhin also doesn't finish Leandri's. I'm just going to get that one in early if that comes up.
Well, what we do know is we do have that Vision Denial online as a rush, as we anticipated here from BalKhan's Graves. Humble Glade, ever so annoying to deal with, now returning to the scene of that crime in the bot lane to say, look, I'll bail you out, Praedyth. You wanted to try and go for that kill. You want to acquire as many of these plates before it goes away in just under 2 seconds. Are you going to get it? I believe you just did, but now BalKhan's died for it. And Starter's thinking, well, I'm in the LCO, here I am, and I'm being gifted a fair few many kills.
It's a bit of an LCO no by BalKhan. Listen, you said what he wanted. It was 13:58 on the clock. There's maybe you can eke out one more plate. Winter has killed Lived. Top lane, that was a 50 CS difference, is now a kill equalizing.
That's huge.
But BalKhan's just decided he might mess around and have a quick death in bottom lane, so they still come out ahead.
Bubble this time does not land as 4 members of Kanga force the advantage. They've got the numbers and they've got themselves that second Herald stacked up nicely. Certainly now raises the question, given that it's going to be an Ocean Soul, if this one does go to distance, there's going to be so much necessity for that healing cup.
Yeah, it's a really good win condition for the side of Kanga, full stop, right, to have the 2 Drakes there. Of course, the trade-off has been Herald's taken. We're going to have a look at what happens. Top Live, 2 levels in the lead, just misses the chains, gets hit by the claw, and actually just dies. He chose that. That was a fight that he wanted.
He wanted it. The battle to sustain. And what I do love about that new Swain, right, is when you do hit that ultimate, it just lasts indefinitely. As long as you're hitting a champion, you are just running them down. Hence the Ghost just feels so nice, much like a Gwen.
Yeah, without a doubt. That and the Everfrost, right? Lock them down. You don't have to hit the claw as readily when Everfrost exists. Fundamentally, as a mythic item, I do think that Everfrost has almost single-handedly warped the meta.
Sure.
Because it just makes champions that require setup pickable by themselves.
A whole new button, basically, isn't it? Yeah.
Like, Veigar is so good because even if the cage locks them in, they're still crowd controlled, so the W and Q will hit because you Everfrost inside the cage. Like, fundamentally changes trade patterns to be so much easier.
Regardless, that stat of Pentanet finding those first turrets won't be deterred too early on. They will find it topside, even if they do have to sacrifice their lives a few times to get those plates as a cost. Can get an answer back in the bot lane as well, as they are going toe for toe now if you compare to Jhin and the Lucian, which is a very promising Stein here for Styled.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If we're gonna quickly check in on how Styled's done overall, I don't have too much to complain about. I think he's just come in, he's been solid.
Oh, what a bubble rogue! Playing this Nami like it's a fresh. Oh, and a Gale Force afterwards. Where are you running? Well, ultimately, back to the fountain for 30 seconds.
Even if a jump was somehow completed, it was straight into the arms of a Swain W, so they were going to be getting that kill almost no matter what. Very well played here by Pentanet.gg. Rogue is the star of the show, 16 minutes into this one. Kitty may need to change which stream she's watching to learn Nami at this rate. It's been a very good performance. Even has the Giga Chad Dark Seal.
Do enjoy it when you get this very explosive style of Nami as opposed to the sit back, buff and heal and hope for the best. Certainly has been very much on the money when it's come to landing those bubbles. As lanes will be swapped around. There is vision to find out BalKhan here, but he's going to clear that one out nice and handily. He's going to force Kanga to try and draw as many resources to this side of the map as Leemas is going to be, or rather Styled I should say, he's going to be left to his own devices in the mid lane, picking up as much as he can. And Pentanet as a 4-pack squad will say, well, this turret, it belongs to us.
Yeah, and Kanga once again not trading at all. They're not looking at the map as a whole and saying we can give a turret and take a turret or jungle camps or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You've got Fighto that was off respawn running towards top lane, so they're just so far behind in tempo that they don't really know what their best course of action may be. Right? Vision control almost fully belonging to Pentanet.gg if it's in the middle of the map. Right, they have such advanced vision, Kanga not willing to go past the point of the river over walls at that, not even deep in the river yet. This will be the deepest ward they place if they place one.
No need to plant it. They found
They don't have one to place.
Well, if they can't place it, then
wards
they can't plant it.
There's just no deep ward. That was just an expedition. Yep, they are in the jungle and they recall.
Yep, they're doing blue, and we're going back to base. We need some more of those.
PGG are already pinging where wards could be, but note that the Umbral Glaive auto-detects vision, so he knows that there's no wards here.
Yeah.
They're actually on a journey to find the wards that Kanga placed, but there's none.
To their surprise, and I suppose to BalKhan's disbelief, there's nothing to be cleared out at this stage. You can just stumble and stroll really into mid lane, banded by his bot lane, and say, all right, boys, let's take an outer in the mid lane.
That was really nice by Style. I know that the turret will still drop, but places down 2 flowers, right? Almost instantly clears the wave. If that wasn't a cannon wave, they actually don't get that turret on that wave. It would have taken them an extra bit of time. A nice idea, but unfortunately for them, of course, the tower is going to drop. That means every outer turret is gone. The map starts to open up really, really thoroughly. And with the vision denial that's possible from BalKhan and Rogue working together, this Drake, which feels like a necessity for Kanga, could be harder to contest.
Certainly could be the case. I'm just checking with the minimap as it stands right now. I see a very deep ward from Pentanet's side on the enemy's red buff to try and scout out vision between top and mid as an interconnect. Really, all these waves are constantly pushing against them, and Kanga are forced to respond, but at some stage we need to say, we need mid control. We've got 10 seconds. We need this third dragon. We can't afford to give PGG that delaying tactic, because we really, really love this Ocean Soul.
Yeah, it's a win condition really as well here for Kanga, right? If they manage to even just steal away this Drake, it's on. Fight's happening.
Live straight in with it, forces out the underside from Yuri straight away, flashing out of the curtain call too. Pops the Hemo Plague with no damage amplification to follow things up afterwards. Dragon surely gone now. Yuri back to half. BalKhan in trouble, up against the wall, forces out the collateral damage. He's going to get put to sleep, and that's going to tick him on down. Kanga have played this one beautifully. Praedyth trying to snipe it with the culling. He's got the cooldown reduction with that blue buff, but in goes Winterer with that demonic ascension, and he's running them down with the ghost. One by one, they're going to fall on. Well,
they're
fall
stuck
on down,
in the pit.
but ultimately they don't have anywhere to run to. Liv could look to try and answer back and say, well, you can do the ultimate, and I can too. And now Fighto says it's my time to find those resets. He wants those rocket jumps. He wants those explosive shots.
He's got the resets.
He's found it, and now he's going to go for a second. He's going to find that third. Style's going to pick up the Nami. And underneath the turret, Praedyth and Winterer are so lucky to stay alive.
I mean, Praedyth one auto attack from dying, one auto attack from giving another reset to Fighto, who dashes under the turrets, and that could have been a wipe, right? That could have actually just been devastating for Pentanet.gg. They'll be able to limp away just by the skin of their teeth from that going from bad to terrible, and this game almost swinging on a dime. The Drake still goes the way of Kanga, so all things considered, the first mistake is Yuri's. He just walks towards the pit just to have a look. Gets forced into the pit away from Fighto and then has to flash. So uses the ult, uses the flash. He's now out of the fight, right? For all intents and purposes, he can't actually get back in. He'd need to cycle a rotation. He's going to heal off the red buff. So the Drake presumably is going to be gone. BalKhan says, I refuse for that to be so. Ults doesn't get over the wall, so has to flash. Is dead. He is just dead. And at this point, it should just be the Drake, smite or no smite for the side of Kanga, and PGG could perhaps run away. But Winter is ghosted, he's ulted. Maybe he sees an opportunity. If Yuri had ult here, this is a wipe. But he didn't, because he made the mistake earlier. So take that into account here. Kanga, they just wait for cooldowns, and they're able to get a huge combo off between Lived and then the resets from Fighto once Leemas speeds him up.
Again, ultimately, you're already seeing from that Pentanet all on very different pages, one by one going in to sort of lay their stake and say, this is what we can do. And Kanga showing respect, saying, well, come at us. And, you know, all we need to do is survive, wait for those cooldowns to be burnt, and then pick you apart. And that's exactly what they did. They're going to be thinking, well, this is fantastic for us. Just another 3 minutes, and we've got that win condition online.
And the game goes from, you know, a 3k odd gold lead. Oh, Fighto. It'll be all right. It goes from 3k gold to 1. Maybe even less than 1, depending on what happens at the next little bit of time. In saying that, PGG do still feel like they have more pressure. I think as a team, they're just much more refined in where they're setting up for vision, how they're setting up. Playing the numbers game, I think more than anything else, is the biggest advantage they have right now. And just recognizing windows, where Kanga, in a fight that is on their terms, that's the first time, really, we've seen them look evenly matched.
Certainly have. And that's kept the gold fairly evenly matched in that same sentence as well. Only a 1k gold difference to really talk about and to separate these teams at that 23-minute mark. And Baron will be ever present and ever taunting. But these turrets are slowly being claimed back. Only the top tier one remains that Fighto's been aiming for countless times. And yes, they've got a bit of vision, but it's not enough to really know exactly where Pentanet are.
I think now's a good time to have the conversation on scaling, right? What does this game look like 10 minutes from now if it continues on an even trajectory? Of course, we have got in 1 minute and 45 seconds the soul, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Tristana does have really nice scaling in the way that her range increases. Her damage output obviously is super high as well, but as a kit is fairly designed for being snowbally, right? So is a very good late game scaling carry if the team is winning. Also has very good turret taking and side lane threat, but it is going to be Ignite. Lillia is insane. Sylas is insane, especially with good ults to steal, and one of them is a Swain. One of them is a Vladimir, and Nami also has got a lot of value if you take away the ultimate from her. And I think a Karma Jhin does actually scale up super nicely into this game, and the rest of PGG, while they do have a lot of good scaling damage, are close range champions. So you're looking at Swain Vladimir and saying that's how you win team fights, and then you just have Lucian and Nami dashing through everyone, right? Bursting people down.
Yep.
If they start the fight on their terms, it's very hard to beat them. But absolutely, a comp like Kanga's can find angles.
Certainly once that flash comes available once again here for Lionel's Lillia, you feel very, very confident. The stopwatch are being burnt. The zone usage has come in. I'm feeling pretty confident about their chances for that huge flash engage, put them to sleep, and hope that you've just got the damage to one-shot them in that moment, because Pentanet will certainly have to be quite careful about that, given just how close quarters they are.
And right now, you would say the ball is in Kanga's court. You know where Pentanet.gg are going to be for the next minute if the Drake is on the cards. You know they're going to be in the bot side river. You're going to play for mid priority. Even if you don't have vision, you know where they are. So Pentanet.gg, obviously aware of all of this. They're going to cut the wave. They want to try and take away as much priority in mid as possible. They do miss 3 minions, but the game is for the Drake.
Really trying to catch up Praedyth there, even with the bowling ball or lives Everfrost, who's going to try and find Yuri on the flank, looking to try and deny that flanking entry. As that dragon will be started off, the lullaby comes out nice and early, but that dragon is falling down very rapidly. Into the blood puddle he goes as he hits the Hemoplague onto free. He's running away, he's toying with them as the Ghost is active. The Curtains calls there. The chains will not connect from Liv as that shot is going to come on through and try and pat these members down low. Liv with a shield across the wall from this Karma is going to say, I'll do what I can. I can evolve into a Swain when need be. But where does Pentanet run to now?
It took Praedyth about 30 seconds, but he's worked it out. He's grouped up with the rest of his team, lived on a huge flank. But Lionel's so low.
Just wants to hit the chains, engage, hit
Is
the
this
ult.
possible?
Everfrost very close. There goes out the ultimate. They're going to answer back. Both going into bird form and looking to try and take down those key targets. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. There's going to be a double kill here found by Praedyth. He's looking to try and make it a triple kill. He wants them all. He's still alive. But they have found 4 members at the price of only losing their star jungle.
And somehow playing for the Drake, playing for the Ocean Soul became chase them towards bottom lane and force a fight that just doesn't achieve anything. They just really wanted to fight, and as a result, now it's a pretty easy triple kill for Praedyth. I mean, we'll see the back end of this fight. Praedyth being split was the moment. Like, if ever you were going to go, that's your only chance, right? But that gets completely taken away. The fight doesn't actually break out at this point, and cooldowns are very easily cycled here. Lived shows, and why are they fighting? Like, what does this actually achieve, right? They're going to go in, they're going to look for BalKhan. They will get themselves BalKhan, but one's already dead. Because instead of playing front to back, the Tristana joins the flank from Liv, and then the rest of the team's just sitting ducks. It's really not a good execution on a team fight. Even, like, routing them is a fine idea, right? Locking them off is a fine idea, but that execution leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah, positional advantages certainly weren't the best. And you saw the tail end of that clip as well. Also, Style being forced to flash away from another very on-point bubble there from Rogue. Back to base they go, and yes, they have denied themselves their ever-crucial Ocean Soul, but once again, now you're looking at that Baron and thinking, why wasn't the fight around this?
Yeah, why not just flash the wall as Lillia for the Drake as well, right? And, like, call it a day. Stay in the river as a team if the Drake's being done instead of chasing the Vladimir. They played towards, I think what happened, right, is like a lizard brain activated. They saw Lived fighting Yuri, and that was it.
And back him up.
That was all they could think of. They just saw it.
Or has it mind controlled them into a situation where they're now feeling a little bit anxious about this game? Because the gold is still very, very close. Only 2K really separating these teams at this point in the game. Item advantages, yes, there are certainly some to be talked about, but nothing enough, or nothing decisive enough to feel like there's a clear favorite in the second game of the day.
No stopwatch for Winter is probably the only thing that stands out to me before this fight does happen, if something were to break out at the Baron. They're about to work their way in, weasel their way in, 5k health. They've just seen it, how much is left on the Baron. Do they get in time?
In comes Winter, TPing in very deep. Fighter's going to spot it as he walks in. The Baron's already gone. Winter can play gold defense as he hits the Demonic Ascension once again and says, you're not walking past here. You're not allowed here. You shouldn't be here. Go back home. They're going to find that support Karma nice and easily. Lived was on the back end of that one. Looking to try and find an angle through mid. He's going to have to relegate himself the long way back to base as Pentanet set themselves up for a siege.
They don't have a lot of minions. They're going to be waiting for the next wave to crash before I think they have opportunity to full commit to this siege, or they're just going to tank it themselves. So they'll be very comfortable tanking that one at the very least. And back to base. I am just outright going to say it. The scoreboard doesn't necessarily reflect it when Praedyth is 5-1, but Rogue's been the MVP so far.
Sure.
Without a shadow of a doubt, Rogue has been just performing incredibly well on this Nami. Can't fault him. Hits a double bubble into ultimate as well, right? Keeps him out of Baron. Free Baron secure. Free follow-up when the team fights after. Good teleport from Winter. A good play from PGG.
Definitely my MVP for this game so far as well. And it's really exciting now as we really set that narrative, be it on a new patch where we put this big emphasis on the bot lanes, how it's looking like those bot lanes are really coming into their own and showcasing that, you know, we can be the key to victory. Try and get ourselves ahead in the early starts of a brand new split. Now, BalKhan down bot side, as is 3 of his teammates. They're very close to landing those chains. Vision will be found in that tri-bush as Kanga say, well, the only play that we're really interested in is, once again, this Ocean Soul.
This is the Os ARAM. It's like an ARAM bit in bot lane, so down under, I guess. It's weird. There's just like, they're really trying to force bot priority. Mid priority is obviously the easiest point of access straight to the Drake. It seems like the map has been split in half here. At any point, if Kanga get a smite secure on the Drake, it will be a soul. Leemas just decides to lose half his health to confirm that Yuri is in that bush, and he is. Needs to be an enchanter, not a tank. Liv is the only person that can tank on this team, and he's not tanky as a zone.
Falling ball dodged again. Liv looking for it. Everfrost won't connect. Yuri jumps in and says, it's my time to shine. I'm going to go in 1v4. Look to try and pop them all. The Drake has been taken. Lionel secured it. The off-roll jungler gets it for the boys. But how many members will they lose in the process of it? They've lost 3 so far. Fighto and Style to survive. They're running to the hills right now. But all Penta have in mind is 40 seconds left on Baron. Let's siege and let's try and get one inhib.
Anyone recalling doesn't have teleport, just for what it's worth as well. It looks like the Swain's going to go back to base to try and defend the lanes, but he's not going to be here bottom now, and depends when he shows. But it looks like Kanga not going to try and contest this one. 3 people dying for a potential smite still is a couple too many. And that should have happened last Drake, let's be honest. That's really the last Drake's outcome happening 1 Drake too late, which means way too much money into the pockets of Pentanet.gg. And now they can threaten to do as much damage as possible at the end of the game's door.
10 seconds left on that Baron buff. No other waves for them to look to try and push, but is going to be Winter that's putting as much value into this mid lane as possible to potentially allow them to transition from bot to mid. Not to be the case. With the last bit of that Baron-inspired recall, back to base one more time, get that tempo and get that item spike to ensure that this game really is yours to take.
I mean, it's an Ocean Soul, which has value. I mean, you're going to be trying to have long, protracted trades. Lillia, Sylas, they love this Soul. Provides so much combat utility for them. But at the end of the day, they are just really far behind now, and perhaps the gold difference equalizes any kind of Soul gold value you could attribute to it. I might be wishing it was an Infernal, so they just had more damage at the present moment.
Can they weather the storm? Is the Ocean Soul enough to try and really contend with 7k gold's worth of stats and items and power spikes that Pentanet certainly have in their arsenal? They've got 4 stopwatches as well, readily available to say this is the fight that may just decide the game. The respawn time is at 32 minutes into this one, will certainly be long. And with that avenue into the base, that is their win condition. Forget about the Ocean Soul for the opposition. That base is exposed.
Well, there's 2 minutes until something is up, so there's been 2 minutes to effectively farm as best you can if you were Kanga. Really need a couple of crucial items, I would say, first and foremost. The choice of going for a Mora Malmortius for Fighto delays any big damage item spikes and is presumably working towards something like an Infinity Edge now.
Sure.
You'd really want that before you fight if possible.
Yeah, the 60% crit chance is a huge boost. Only could be enough with the range that Tristana will have close to level 18 to fend off the engage as they swarm the map. And Lived is doing whatever he can to try and shove out those super minions in the bot lane. But the collapse, a 3-2 split, easy as they like for Pentanet to traverse the map.
This is the fun thing about the Enchanter meta Skimmy is how does Kanga engage? How do they engage? What does their engage look like? There's a lot of questions that are very hard to answer, especially in a losing game state.
Yeah.
They've got a Jhin curtain, they've got a good Lillia. If the E hits, right, or if a flash Q connects, you can ult zone use. Like, they have some tools, but to force that into Pentanet's comp, you're probably dying.
Yeah. No flash on Lionel.
There's no 0-10 Nautilus angles here. You can't just press Q and pray, right? There's no, like, if someone's mispositioned, to actually punish them requires you to be really working together to put down the damage.
Certainly ease of access comparatively to what Pentanet have. It's a lot harder for Kanga, almost like a competition where it welcomes them coming forwards and says, we'll just look to try and counter-engage a fair bit better than you. And maybe that's possible with the Ocean Soul to try and weather that storm, to have those very long drawn-out trades. I'm not sure if Pentanet will allow that to be the case, as they've been shoving these waves furiously. Bot lane has now accrued a massive stack of super minions that need to be addressed by Kanga, but the Baron is up in 10 seconds now.
I think at the end of the day, Winter has almost stopped farming. He's hit a point where there's just no access to minions for this Swain. He doesn't want a 1v1. Has the Rylai's with an Everfrost. He's just a utility top laner right now. Even has the stopwatch there. 4 stopwatches completed for PGG. If Kang were to try and contest this Drake, they are fully equipped, or Baron rather, they are fully equipped to fight this one out. It doesn't seem like the contest is going to be there at all.
Baron is gone. No need to delay it, no need to hold on to it, no need to wait to see what Kanga's next move is. They're showing on waves. They are pushing like crazy, and you can see that Fighto has gone back to base. He's picked up that BF sword. He was sitting on a pickaxe before. He must be close and must be screaming in comms right now. I just need a little bit more Infinity Edge, and then we're all in.
Yeah, he took the wave away from Lived as well. Lived completed his Void Staff, so as far as items are concerned, they're starting to have them all come across. I would say the Infinity Edge is maybe the last remaining spike. It could be that they were communicating. I mean, Styled also very similar with his items. It could be they were communicating, we don't fight until we get these.
Sure.
Right? That's not uncommon. You do have the Elder up in 1 minute, so hopefully, in their minds at least, they're able to get some of these items before that spike necessitates a fight. Because you don't want to have to deal with a Baron and an Elder Dragon at the same time.
Good timing, obviously, also for all the summoners to be available again. So Lillia will have that flash engage if necessity wills it. So
Trist basing.
45 seconds, Elder Dragon. That's what Kanga seem to be hedging their bets on right now. Question is, though, will Fighto have enough on this reset? Back to base he goes. And there it is complete. And a stack of control wards also picked up to ensure they've got the best possible engage.
The control wards are really just going to be trying to grant them access to the Drake or to the river, right? Look at the wards that are placed on the minimap by PGG. They have complete control of the blue side quadrant of the map. It's almost just going to be push mid to get to the river and then face check. But who face checks from Kanga if that's what they want to do without dying?
Good buffer on that rocket jump there from Fighto. As soon as the smoke screen goes down, nose, no, can't afford to hold this one out.
And to actually get mid-player against the Baron buff makes it significantly harder, costs them time as well, but because it's an Elder Dragon, that also takes a lot longer to complete. So they have got a chance to work their way in right now between waves.
Bot inhib has respawned, but the minions are pushing against them. Same with top lane, and mid will be held in that mid lane point. Elder has been engaged. Yuri on the flank, he hasn't been spotted. Out goes the Ghost, nice, nearly lived in trouble, has to go golden. Leemas nearly gets one shot from that one. As Winter is going to jump in, and everybody hitting the stasis effects as BalKhan going to get tried. Oh, no, didn't hit him with the bop in the block. That's not going to be enough there. 2 kills found here by Pentanet so far early on into this one. Forget about the Elder. In for the fight we go. Fighto tries to find one more. He's rocket jumping away. He's praying that the Ocean Soul's enough, but no, there's zap. And the burn from this Vladimir. At this stage, a little bit too much. He goes golden, and here is the zap from the Elder. Amongst everything else, there is the first ace of the game, and it could not have come at a better time.
Yeah, the combat Nami is just taking on anyone that gets near the dragon pit. Yuri's going to be able to basically wipe the team fight himself as well. Pushes away the Jhin, stops the ultimate. Very easy stuff here by PGG in the end. Very clean win from them overall, even against an Ocean Soul.
Sunny was, and what you can see from the damage graph there, a lot of work put in, practice really from both Lived and Fighto, hence a big reason why they were delaying him for that last and decisive team fight. But at 38 minutes, Pentanet finally wrapped things up. They've overcome the Ocean Soul, and Citadel is just a little bit better.
I'm not going to say that Kanga weren't given chances. I think it's fair to say that PGG went out of their way to make sure that Kanga had some lifelines in that one. They got to ask the audience multiple times. They were even given a 50-50 to Drake. But at the end of the day, they were just the better team. And they were still able to come up clutch. And I think it's all of the steps prior to the mistakes that PGG made that had them covered.
Sunny moments, as you say. And I think as far as things go for Lionel subbing in as a jungler, definitely had a fair few good moments, right? Stealing away the Ocean Soul was phenomenal. Yes, I think you said to me, was like maybe it was one Drake a little bit too late. But they gave up a very good fight, I'd have to say, Mac. You know, up against one of these very strong teams, if you are looking to try and field a slightly weakened roster at face value, you've given them a good run for their money.
They really did. And there were moments where we were sitting in the green room when it was like that 5 sort of kills a piece. That's when I was like, ooh, Kanga are really in this one. You know, there was a couple of limit testing moments coming through from PGG. There was some awkward ones. I think BalKhan with that kill on a Fighto when he's, what are we, like 5, 6, 7 minutes in, and he's just dove towards the tier 2 tower just to get it. Falls away. The fade away with the ult as well. That was lovely to watch. But then, look, rest of the team fights, Kanga, there were moments where you saw how they were posturing, saw how they sort of needed to play the fight, but they just kind of misplayed it a couple of times, just from positioning, just from people not quite being where they needed to be at the right time. I think this is one in particular where you got lived right down there. You've got extremely deep, and then it just didn't enable the rest of the troops to get into the fight in time. PGG, their fighting, their positioning throughout the most of the fights was great, I guess for the most part. Kitty, what do you have to say about the game?
Hello guys, well like Rusty said, both teams had 2 enchanter picks where it was really hard to look for those angles of engage where both teams heavily relied on that flash. Like if we talk about the Vladimir, he is a champion that needs the flash to engage flash ulti. If we talk about Lillia, he's the same example, but I think Kanga misplayed when, I think it was Bedoing, not Bedoing, sorry, my bad. When it was Fighto jumping in, not playing front to back, and that was their crucial mistake. But it was still really nice seeing Kanga picking up the Dragon Soul, where they played towards the Dragon throughout the entire early game, while we had PGG playing towards the Herald, and they actually got all 3 outer towers really, really early in the game.
And look, you called it as well. Fighto in mid. We finally get to see his Tristana because it's a strong point in the meta right now. Unfortunately, it wasn't strong enough to take down PGG. And hopefully we get to ask him in this post-game interview because that Swain pick, Kitty was curious about it. And I think hopefully we'll get a chance to chat with Winterus so he can give us the in-depth reasons, the whys as to why that one has been slipped in. Their comp, when you look at it, it's a completely different comp. I don't think you would have seen something like this last split. Like, it just goes to show we're in a whole different meta now, right, Rusty?
Yeah, we've seen a couple of these picks as well at MSI, right? This is before the patch. So we saw the Vladimir being picked into Gwen, I believe it was, running Ignite, teleport top lane to match it in strength. I don't think we saw many Vladimirs mid whatsoever. We saw Faker playing Tristana mid, so no doubts Fighto is thinking about that, quietly cheering while someone validates his pick on such a wide scale. But yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of new champions, a lot of things to be excited about, but still some slow-paced league.
Yeah, PGG as well. That bot lane looking insane this game.
Well, at times, definitely at times. But then we do have Classic Marky getting in and saying, look, watch this. Dash, Gale falls. Wait, crap, I'm in trouble. Oh, I'm dead. Rogue, what's happened? And I just got flashbacks to that game where they played like Jinx and Yumi, and Yumi's like, I'm out of here, bro. Like, I'm running back to base. Like, this Jinx just gonna die on her own. So
it only happened once though, right? Like, I'm pretty sure he only died once, so he just had to test the limits one time, and he learned from his mistakes.
Mixed it up, I guess.
We love Marky.
That's what you
love a good in, don't we?
It really is. Now, look, we do have to talk about PGG, where they're going to end up towards the end of the split. Are they going to be stronger than last time? Are they going to be able to make it the whole damn way? Are Chiefs still going to stand in their way? We get to see where Chiefs, what Chiefs are feeling in their best one coming up pretty shortly as well. It's just like the battle of the Titans, and we don't know who's looking good. But you got to remember, like last split as well, Peace came out of the gates looking ridiculously strong.
Yep.
And then what happened? They kind of dropped the ball towards the end of the split. I don't think that'll happen. Now Violet's back too. There's just so many storylines with these sort of Titan teams with the top 5 you expect to make playoffs, right, Kitty?
Well, I think PG might actually do a lot better than the teams that have made roster changes because it takes a long time to get used to those new players entering the team. And with PG remaining the only team with the same roster from Split 1, I actually think that could be their advantage compared to the other super teams.
Yeah. I feel like it's a solid point. Now, Rusty.
Hey.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You need a little,
No,
you need
it's
a longer
not
break?
all right, but I'm all right.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
You're good though. That's what we need.
We'll make it.
Yeah.
We're all going to make it.
I think
We're all gonna
make it, bro.
Fuck, this is pose, bro.
Get it going.
Been
real
watching
quick.
Drag streams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, that's time. I think Kanga. Look, they did throw something into the mix there with the role changes last minute as well. Lionel look, in the jungle.
Getting
I feel
a bit
like
funky.
he looked better in the jungle than what he did last split in support. I didn't put that one out there.
I mean, that's contentious, I think.
There were times, right? I think when he played like Tom Kench, I think he did like a whole bunch of roaming and stuff. We're like, oh, okay, Lionel's like coming into his own right now. I've actually tuned into a few of his streams as well, and he said like, like I'd love to play AD carry again at some stage, but I feel like, it's one of those cases if you play support, you learn a lot more about bots. And when he plays bot, he's like, oh, I know a lot more what I can do. And I think it's just great to see, players almost have that like understanding of like the two sides of the coin.
What about Leemas? How are we feeling about him sitting in sup? Does he suit it?
Well, the thing is, right, like, I think it's fair to say that Styled is a sub. Like, he's not the intended main jungler for this team. Regardless of who that is, I don't think he's the intended main jungler. So they've done the best with what they can. If this is their roster tomorrow, they'll do the best with what they can.
Sure.
And with 3 AD carries on the Rift out of 5, you got to get creative.
Yeah.
But it turns out that they can play Lillia. Lionel can play Lillia. It's just that the AD carry switch support is now playing jungle because it's the best they can do with the draft that they've got. I think tomorrow will be very similar.
Do what you can with what you got. And we've got someone on the line as well. That is Winterer. We're going to have a quick chat with the big man. How you feeling after that fatty dub, Winterer?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. We didn't expect Style to play jungle, and we're surprised he played really well. The game was a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
Well, Winter, we didn't expect you to pick Swain in the top lane, so please elaborate on why you guys decided to choose Swain for top lane this game.
For Swain, we didn't know what to take first pick, so I just slammed it. Number
Easy
3.
as
What
that.
a Giga Chad response. First pick me blind Swain. But yeah, so you guys have had some time with communication and to develop that communication during the off season. So how do you think you guys have come since Split 1 in terms of the team bonding?
Everyone became more chat in terms of communication. Like even Yuri started talking a lot, so game feels a lot easier.
Okay.
The games are just easier.
The games are just easier. That's good. And so look, feeling out like where you're going to sit this split. Are you guys, obviously you're going to be trying to make it to Worlds again. I know you would love to make that, but what about the rest of the boys? Who are you feeling is sort of the biggest challenge coming into Split 2? Is it Chiefs? Are you worried about Order again? Is it Peace with Violet being back? Like, who are you worried about?
For now, I'm mostly afraid of Chief because Tupun and Arthur, they're really good players and they upgraded their ball lane as well. And Tali has always been a Giga Chat, so we gotta watch out for them.
A couple of Giga Chads now. Look, we'll wrap this one up, but thank you very much. I guess we might see you tomorrow if you make a big dub again.
Yeah. See you guys.
Make a big rubbity dub. That's what you always say.
Rubbity dub dub.
Big rubbity dubs in the chat for all you guys.
The
It feels weird. We usually like get to sit there at the PCs and we'd be talking with chat like the whole time as well.
Yeah.
And we just don't have PCs, so it's just I just have to communicate with you.
I was like kind of
telepathically.
expecting maybe that screen there that obviously chat can't see, but is that screen there we've had in the past? We've had Twitch chat live on it. I'm thinking maybe they're realizing that we're not good at multitasking.
I refuse to admit that I miss Twitch chat.
Why?
Because I do, but I refuse to admit
They
it.
don't miss you either.
Yeah.
Maybe. Anyway, look, we've got their MVP to jump on into, and I feel like some people may be surprised, but look, it is sharing It's caring, and there is no bias here, I swear, from the broadcast talent. But Rogue is going to be the Dare MVP. 1-1 and 13, and he was all around the rift with 77% KP.
Nami mains rise up coming in with the 1-1-13 KDA, but Rogue, I did see that Darksteel in the very early game, and then you guys were like, oh, we might lose, so you kind of sold it. But, you know, I'll let that pass because I like buying Darksteel on the Nami as well. I think it's quite a good strat, but I really like this Lucian Nami coming out of you guys, and hopefully we see it more in the next few games.
Yeah, I'd really love to see it a bit more. Good to see Rogue is off on the right foot. We got to see him in that pre-game interview and have a chat as well. And the man is looking good, isn't he? In the rift and out.
You could say dapper.
You know,
that's best, his word.
But it's a trademark word for him, isn't it?
But the best part is he didn't expect it to be like a trademarked word. It took off around him,
yeah.
And now he's overwhelmed by So I just like saying it to make sure that he remembers that he has no choice in it.
Yeah,
he's just dapper now.
A dapper performance today from the big men. So I feel like we could, have some more dapper members spinning that word. If they jump on in the Discord, exclamation Discord, if you want to jump on into there, you can see photos of my dog, her cat.
My cat. Rusty's dog.
My dog's an emoji thingy.
Is it an emoji?
Yeah, it's an emote.
There you go.
I think it's Bailey and Bailey 2.
Well, that emoji's in there.
Yeah.
So you can have all the good stuff, talk with the community and even play games together. But look, we got a third game to get into. And to get into that, we got to go to a break one more time, so don't go too far. Peace and Direwolves is coming up just after this.
Engage, hit the ult. Frost very close. There goes that the ultimate. They're going to answer back. Both going into bird form and looking to try and take down those key targets. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. There's going to be a double kill here found by Praedyth. He's looking to try and make it a triple kill. He wants them all. He's still alive. But they have found 4 members.
Hey, look, menu pog.
Alistair.
Yes.
We've done Alistair. It'd be annoying if we had it twice.
It's Wukong.
It is
Oh my God.
Wukong. And it wasn't even him.
It
was literally a rock. You saw a rock and you guessed Wukong. So congrats, Kitty. Yeah, you're absolutely cracked on the